It's Monday, June 19th. Hello, kia ora, I'm Philip Duncan, and thanks for joining us. We've got a fair amount of rain around parts of New Zealand this week, and it's going to be a bit warmer than average as well, especially compared to last week. And in Australia, a little bit of rain, and those windy westerlies in the south, they carry on just for a little bit longer. Let's take a look at the animated wind map. High pressure to the east of the country, encouraging a milder northeasterly. Doesn't necessarily mean it's warm, but it's warmer than it was last week and probably warmer than it should be, especially around the North Island as those northerlies, and we've also got the rain along that eastern side combine. Over to the northwestern side of New Zealand, high pressure further to the north, also encouraging a milder airflow from the subtropics. So it's certainly a mild start to the week. That's why we've been seeing plenty of cloud and fog around. And we've got the big low down here near Tasmania. That's encouraging the windy westerly that's been blowing through Bass Strait and other parts of the southeastern corner, but it is going to calm down a bit this week. And that's all thanks to high pressure. So let's have a look and see what's happening with the rain for New Zealand the next 3 days ahead. And really the main areas of heavy rain in the north and the northeast, and the north of the South Island as well. So those areas with the red shading, that's not huge amounts, sort of 30 to about 50 millimetres, and that's over 3 days. So it is spread out, but the heaviest falls most likely to be just along that eastern side and also the far north. Elsewhere, you're at the bottom of the scale, blues and greens, just a couple of showers. Over in Australia, blues and greens and yellows, that's the main part of it at the beginning of the scale here. So we're not talking huge amounts of rain, but a bit of rain across Western Australia and some showers in there, and still just a few showers down there in the south, but really nothing too significant rain-wise. So let's have a look at what is going on as we go into Tuesday. The low that was near Tasmania starts to fall apart. So it goes into the Tasman and gets quite messy. There's a colder southerly coming up around next to Sydney, but because you've got high pressure, things will calm down. But in the New Zealand area, it's still plenty of northeasterly winds, a very powerful high out to the east, and northwesterly winds coming in for the north here. So either way, nor'westers on this side, nor'easters on that side, northerly quarter winds right across New Zealand. So the next few days ahead are going to be warmer than average for New Zealand, but you could get some cold nights coming up over in Australia with that big high. So by Wednesday, the high is parked over Sydney, the low is coming in towards Auckland, the next one that's starting to reform again out there in the Tasman Sea, and we've still got that northeasterly flow. The rain most likely around Gisborne and East Cape. Some of it will come down into Hawke's Bay and Waited Upper and maybe as far south as Marlborough, but for the most part it is up here in that northeastern corner. And the next stormy system for Australia starts to build for Adelaide on Wednesday with those windy northerly conditions. So on Thursday, the low comes into the top of New Zealand. It's not a very deep and strong low, but it's enough to just keep this weather pattern going, which is going to be annoying for some of you who are already over it. Now, it'll be a little bit windier as well. We'll see those northeasterly winds picking up on Thursday. They'll be a little bit blustery around some parts of the country. If the low goes any deeper than that, then I think wind warnings might be possible. If it stays around that point, wind warnings are most likely to be for those coastal marine areas. So by the end of the week, we're starting to look a little messy in the weather pattern. It's nothing really sort of dominating. We've got high pressure, quite large amounts of it down here to the south, and another one just off into the Indian Ocean. Otherwise, it's all low pressure in there, and none of these lows are really particularly deep or stormy. They're just keeping the very unsettled weather pattern with us and carrying on. And for New Zealand, it carries on that warmer northerly airflow. So very different to where we were last week with the -5s and -7s. We saw -5 as far north as Waikato. This week, most places will be above +5, if not above 10 degrees, double digits at night, especially at least in the north. Colder for the south still. Some of you may still be just getting into the frost territory with clearer skies for you. And our final map for Saturday shows 1, 2, 3 weak low pressure systems, and we've got a powerful, or fairly large high I should say, a more powerful one out to the west than that one over Australia, and then another more powerful one out to the east. So it's pretty messy as far as highs and lows are concerned. It's also kind of normal, I guess, for this time of the year, but what we'd be seeing more of normally as we head into winter, storms down in the Southern Ocean. So I think once we go through to July, we might start to see that door opening up a little more than it's been. But for now, it's still pretty messy with a wetter and warmer than average week ahead for parts of New Zealand. We'll see you again tomorrow, Tuesday, with our next update.